Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're delving into the world of JoJo and the Thief. This is a band that's been making some considerable noise in the music scene. Very special act indeed. JoJo and the Thief are a glamorous art rock rebirth forged by the collision of a Canadian power duo and a fierce Isle of Wight trio. This is what their Spotify tells me. It's a transatlantic marriage a la Fleetwood Mac with blend and band inspirations from every corner of music. They have a dark and moody kind of driving sound, very forward but very intimately rooted in good old-fashioned guitar, rock and roll, from which pretty much most modern rock and metal and everything came from. So some nostalgia vibes in there and some lessons as a guitarist to appreciate the history of guitaring, where it came from, where it's brought us back today, and yet to hear these velvety bluesy depths and moments of kind of guitar sort of sentiments all in one place. But critics, and as a matter of what I've got to say, critics have been raving about them. A&R Factory said if you amped up the visceral attitude in Stevie Nicks' vocals to 11, I note the Spinal Tap reference, they'd still pale in comparison to the hooky veracity of Jojo O'Donoghue's blisteringly hot pop rock vocal lines. How's that for some linguistic compliments? Loud Enough magazine called them one of the most promising and exciting new acts of recent years. JoJo and the Thief capture the spirit of early 70s glam rock and the confrontational attitude of punk and doing it with style. Slightly less verbose comment, but equally complimentary and hugely positive. Let's talk about their latest release, an album called No More Good News. No More Good News was the album released on the 2nd of December 2022. It's a 10-track affair, and the album is nothing short of genius. It's been described as an album of not only great promise, but solid execution and limitless potential. Critics have praised it for its gutsy vocals, fiery guitars, and loping grooves. As a kind of first-time listener to this band and this album, I have to firstly and foremost compliment the vocal dexterity of Jojo O'Donoghue, the band's vocalist. Her voice drives straight at you like a bullet from a gun. The album is filled with kind of vocal harmonics for me were reminiscent of the 70s glam band Sweet. I listened to them a lot growing up, and I remember them being very kind of glam poppy, but they also kind of then re-released all of their hits, and it was like super, like almost like heavy, like rock. It was mad. But anyway, that's a complete side point. The band also, I hear the drive of the T-Rex, along with all of these rock and roll grooves and, sort of almost largely kind of bluesy and country overtones. Top tracks for me have to be the opener, My Babe, which I add, for me, anything with the word babe in the title. As a hardcore metalist, I tend to dodge. Yes, it was, I've now dropped that particular gripe. I'm not a fan of the word babe, but it's a great, captivating, interesting, hook-ridden introduction to what is quite a journey of an album. We're Just Animals, I have to praise for its dexterity. Rat Track really is a wild ride, soft, and then into this kind of sort of driving pure rock and roll, fully enjoyable kind of momentum. There's much to say about Is This a Dream. This kind of starts with gritty kind of like Hendrixy guitaring, and and I don't tire of it. You have all this beautiful kind of blisteringly epic displays of talents from each and every member of the band. And the guitaring, I keep coming back to the guitaring, especially because there's this massive guitar solo at the end. It's basically it's so good, it makes me want to basically recycle my guitar out there with the green bin on a Thursday morning, say hello to my local authority, give the bin man £50 and say, take my guitars away. There are Clapton-esque tones, gritty beefy kind of punk tones, swirly whirly atmospherics, and just about everything in between. This is one thing I have to say about this album. Guitar tones, you will not be bored of them. The overall production is spacious. You don't need to see the band live, but you should. But if you couldn't, this is a band in your living room. The production there, the clarity that this production provides, is astonishing, and it's as astonishing as the music. Now, let's talk about an upcoming performance. Yes, you heard me right. Of course, there's always a gig involved, well, more often than not with my videos here. 24th of May at the Water Rats in London. The Water Rats is a venue with an impressive legacy. Originally built in 1517, it was once patronised by Karl Marx and Lenin, although I don't think they were really playing rock and roll back in those days. But it's also known for hosting Bob Dylan's first UK gig in 1962. There's a fact that's probably a little bit more palatable, but the venue promises a great night with Jojo and the Teeth performance there. So there you have it, Jojo and the Teeth, a band that's not just making music, but drawing in history, as well as renewing and making history all on their own. Look forward to their up and coming performance, and remember, whether you're coming home or heading out, their album No More Good News is the perfect soundtrack. This is an album that you can sit at home with your kind of log fire on and your dressing gown and your short of brandy on. It's also an album for the car on that ride to goodness knows where you're contemplating your own existence. This is the soundtrack to newly forged love and self-pitying breakups. It's an absolute treasure of an album. It's been an absolute treasure of a band to review, and it'd be brilliant to see them live. So if you liked this video, yeah, Jojo and the Teeth, everyone.